So before I started LOA Academy, I felt like I had this immense interest in LOA in general, and I was following a lot of sort of just general LOA content online, listening, like a lot of people do, just listening to a lot of YouTube videos and enjoying them, and following blogs and podcasts and etc., just from a lot of different sources, and just sort of listening to it and trying to get an understanding of it. I'd been following it generally on and off for a few years, but where I was really was that I wanted to go deeper, and I wasn't really sure how. Like, some of these videos that you listen to are great, but they still kind of feel very abstract. What I wanted to do was to learn more about the technical side of it, really, how to apply it. And I had actually read Melody's book, which I loved, and then I'd also gone to a talk of hers in London, which was great. And she'd given me some advice about a question that I'd asked her about a limiting belief. And I went off and took her advice. She gave me a tool to use, and I had some amazing results from that. And that was a few years ago. That was about 2015, I think. And the results of that was so good. So I guess when LOA Academy came along, I thought, this must be it. This must be the thing that's going to help me make things less abstract when it comes to LOA. So as much as I was loving just generally delving into it as a topic, thinking about it, trying to apply it on my own, I was still feeling a little bit like I was wandering around lost and not always getting the results that I knew I could. Life was okay, it was okay, but I was wanting more. And I think that's when when LOA Academy came along, I thought, oh, this feels good. So that's kind of where I was before. I knew that I wanted to level up in general in all areas of my life, on top of wanting specific things, like having certain goals. I just generally wanted to level up. I wanted to be able to just focus and dial into a certain kind of energy and just go for what I wanted, but I just didn't know how to do it. I just didn't know, and I don't think I realized how much some of my own beliefs were holding me back too. And I think that was a big deal, not really realizing that maybe I had certain triggers, certain definitely limiting beliefs, and certain resistance popping up all over the place. And when you're not aware and you don't have the education, you don't really notice it. So I think I must have intuitively known, because then when the course came along, I thought, this sounds like this could help me figure some of that out. But yeah, definitely feeling like I was holding myself back, but not knowing how. But I think a lot of it was down to like limiting beliefs, and also just not knowing where to start. Joining the program did impact my life. Yeah, I would say, making friends with other students has been great. And I would say as soon as you start the course, you start to feel a change in a good way. But you start to feel like things are shifting already. As soon as you start the course, you dive into the work. It gets you thinking, it gets you feeling about things, it gets you assessing your environment, how you're feeling, what you're focusing on every day. And that does start to have an impact on you straight away, I'd say. Even though it starts nice and gently, and it is very accessible, you don't get thrown in the deep end straight away. It starts off nice and gently, but you start to feel a very sort of subtle impact straight away. I would say just on an internal level, psychologically and emotionally. But yes, from the word go, you do feel something, you feel a certain change. I will say this though, something that I have said to some of the other students, and they've agreed with me on this too, is I know that I am a different person to the person I was when I started this course, or shall I say just before the course. But it's extremely difficult to explain and put into words. I just feel different. I feel like a very different person in a good way, in a very good way. But it's the changes, you feel like there's something that's shifted very deep down and in a very fundamental way. And it's very, very powerful. And it might be simply because, well, actually, no, I don't think it's that simple, but I do think it's partly because you are more aware and your focus is more aligned and things become clearer to you. It is a bit like, we talk about waking up, and you do feel like you're waking up. So yeah, I definitely feel like a different person to the person I was before I started this course, in a good way. It's a very deep sort of, it's a very deep shift. It's just hard to explain, but it's good. So for me, since finishing or joining the program, shall I say, I am still in the early days of learning to now go forward on my own and apply all these things, but I am doing it, and I'm processing a lot of it because this course is so full. There's so much in it. So you've got to allow yourself time to let it all sink in. But definitely there's some great things that have happened. I feel, for instance, that I've managed to release some resistance around memories from the past that I think have had an effect on me and I didn't even realize it. That's been a good feeling thing for me. I mean, it's felt really good to like let go of that. I've also managed to, using some of the techniques from the course, clear some triggers that were affecting my relationship. I'm in a wonderful relationship that of 4.5 years, but even fantastic relationships need work. And I realized that there were certain things that were triggering me and that they shouldn't be. So the tools from the course helped me go and realize that, spot it, be able to clear that. And then I realized very quickly that I just wasn't being triggered by that stuff anymore. And that was fantastic. That was a really good win for me. And being able to do the releases properly and effectively was very good. I've managed to do that a fair amount. I also think for me, a big win for me from having done the course is just feeling excited and feeling like I'm at the beginning of a new adventure, and that I've got this toolbox now that I can use, and I can have fun with this, and I can play with this all. You know, I can just have fun with this manifesting stuff, and I've got this great toolbox I can use. So I feel like I'm at the start of a new adventure, and that it's good, and I feel excited about things, and it's nice to know that I've got some techniques I can use when maybe bad stuff happens and when good stuff happens, and that it's all part of the game. It's all part of the video game of life. So I've had a few wins, but I'm also processing a lot of the information, but it's really exciting. And I definitely feel changed on a very deep level from the whole course. So it's all very good. I do think that the synergy with the other students in the Facebook groups or the forum that we use to all stay connected as students is a huge part of what makes the course so enjoyable, is having that synergy with these other students, and how you support each other is fantastic. There are times when, you know, some of us might feel that we don't have other people in our lives we can talk to about this stuff, and when you're all thinking and feeling so deeply about certain things, or you've managed to release something and let something go, or you're trying really hard to align your focus, or whatever that may be happening, you can go to that group of fellow students for support. And of course the coaches are fantastic, but just having that group and then seeing that group last beyond the end of the course has just been fantastic. So to this day, we're all still chatting, we're all still supporting each other. We're all, you know, we've made new friends. Some of us have met up in real life, even though we've had distances between us, which is really great. So yeah, I think the synergy of the that group synergy that occurs with the other students is very, very powerful, and it's just so beneficial. And the support is ongoing. Yeah, it's brilliant, really good. What I would say to anybody who is thinking of joining the course is take it from somebody who's always generally sort of following LOA as a topic, and followed or just kept an eye on lots of different teachers, lots of different kinds of teachings, has always been interested in it, listened to a lot of podcasts and watched a lot of YouTube videos, and like everybody else felt drawn to it, wanted to know more, but wasn't always sure about how to apply it, how to make it really work for me, how to delve deeper and understand, get down to the nitty-gritty. I would say if you're like that, if you're like me, then this course will definitely benefit you, because Melody gets right down to the nitty-gritty. She breaks everything down for you. She makes everything make sense. It's all accessible. You're supported. You get all the information possible that you possibly need to have a good foundation to get this kind of education. So you can't lose from doing it. And one thing I'll definitely say is that, having followed a lot of different teachers, and you know, there are a lot of great ones out there, I think Melody is the only teacher doing this kind of work in this way. And that's what I think is very special about this course. She's the only teacher that I've come across who's doing work in this way, where she's breaking everything down for you, making it accessible, putting it into like bite-sized chunks and making it make sense and giving it to you in a really accessible way, you know, and in such a way that you can also do it in your own time at your own space, and then also giving you that support, so that coaching support, and on top of that, a great community that you can feel supported by and meet and study along with as well. So I would, you know, keep that in mind, that it's such a great opportunity to do it with a teacher who's probably the only one doing it in this way, who's going to give you really clear-cut tools. It's not going to be, it's going to be demystified as well. So any kind of misunderstandings you might have about LOA and things you hear about saying, like, for instance, a lot of us have been told, you know, maybe in the past, that we shouldn't feel bad, we shouldn't think bad things. And that's crap. It's, you know, Melody is going to break all that stuff down. She's going to demystify stuff. All your questions will probably get answered in the course. And if you don't feel like it's being answered, you can ask her directly, which is great. So you get direct access to her too. I don't know if the same thing can be said for a lot of other courses or writings or teachings elsewhere. So I would say go for it, because I think Melody's the only person doing this work in this way with this kind of course, which is so accessible and so easy. Yeah.